Okay, we're already up to Rav Meir Shapiro number 6, Baruch Hashem. So we mentioned last time that he, of course, embraced the Good Yisrael very, very much, right? And we gave some context for German Jewry and what a Good Yisrael did. And you can imagine, think about it, phenomenal, Velt's Talmud Chacham, unique abilities as a speaker, a spokesperson, an organizer, a leader. So he was thrust by the Gedolei Dor, the Admor Megor and the Chavetz Chaim, to head the Gouda in Poland. This is 1922. The Gouda again was founded in 1909, and he's 35 in Poland. And he threw himself with a fury to everything in touching a Gouda to really adopt it. Like I said, he was a true great activist. Read a little bit about that. Everything stemmed from him, from the single guiding thought which built the Gouda's foundation to reach and inspire the faith-filled, believing, observant masses of Torah Polish Jewry, to infuse a sense of ability and strength into them, and to then mold and weld them into one organization with the confidence that they could stand firm. Right? So we're talking about Frum Jews. This isn't a Kirov organization. It's uniting and giving purpose and direction to the Frum. That they could stand firm, proof against all the destructive winds of foreign radical ideology, against all of miasmas, of glorious and gorgeous delusion that tore with tornado force over Jewish horizon. Let's not get stuck in Bundism and the other things that are rising. We can stand strong, and we are a strong people. Okay? And then we talked about Tzirei Gudei Yisrael, was this youth organization. Listen to how he spoke. Listen to the mindset. Has this not been the whole dream of my life, to see a devoutly religious youth living and battling with all of its energy for our faith? That's what Rav Meir Shapiro lived for. I hope and pray to find this yearning of mine realized in you, Tzirei Gudei Yisrael. If anyone asks you, speaking to them, what is this organization of yours? This Tzirei is young, a Gudei Yisrael. With these words here, Tzirei Gudei Yisrael is a Jewish religious legion, the equal of any national legion. Our homeland is the Torah, our shield is our morality. And he thought about Polei Gudei Yisrael, which is the older people, the working. The beautiful day of my life will come when I see the Jewish laborer with one hand on the plow and a volume of Talmud in the others. That's what he was waiting for. He wants to see people working and people learning, and listen to his dream. They'll see the working man with a volume of Talmud in his hand. This is what he was saying. This he was saying in the 20s. Okay? Now, it's hard to believe, and I want you to imagine for a moment the greatest Rav you know, the greatest Talmud Chacham you know, right? The person who's shaku and limud, connected to Torah, connecting to teaching Torah. All he wants to do is sit in yeshiva, learn, teach, etc. Imagine that person, right? Now, imagine someone much, much greater than that. So Rav Meir Shapiro went further. It says in the second paragraph of Tainus, when there's no rain, you take the Sefer Torah L'Chova Shili, where you put the Sefer Torah out. So now perhaps the greatest Talmudist in Poland was Yotzei Achutza. We needed Jewish representation in the Sem, which was Polish parliament, right? And no less than Rav Meir Shapiro took that on. He might have absorbed himself sacredly enough to be considered the very embodiment of Torah. He was a Sefer Torah. But he knew this was not the time to stay in the safe, cozy confines of the Beis Medrash anyway. He could never bury his head in the sand before threatening danger. He could never ignore reality or blind himself to it. And he saw what a time of danger was for the observant, believing Jews of Poland. Right? Again, we're not living in the times, but many forces, everything's pushing the same things. That same thing is making a good Israel form all those types of ideas. So guess what happens? He runs for office. In such a situation of dire danger, it was certainly not the time for a spiritual leader to sit enclosed in the confines of Talmudic study and halacha alone. He had to appear before the people and persuade and compel the Torah Jews to see the situation as he saw it, right? And he had to organize, and he, in fact, he went into the Sem. He was in the parliament for no less than 5 years. Hashem Yazor. We're going to talk next time about how those years were for him, how difficult they were, how much he suffered in the Sem, and what he did. But the very fact, it's just so amazing to imagine someone like him who ends up, sitting in a parliament with it wasn't as bad as American or Israeli politics today, of course, but still, anti-Semites and wasting time and narishkeit and foolishness and silliness and all types of things. A person who's called Kula Torah, but that his life was Klal Yisrael, his life was Ratzon Hashem, and he did that ultimate sacrifice for Klal Yisrael. And more about that next time.